Hello everyone, I'm Pastor Dave, and this is your Monday morning recap for July 27th, 2020, based on our sermon yesterday, What is Heaven? Here we go. This week, we were trying to work through our understanding of heaven, especially the kingdom of heaven as Jesus described it in the parables in Matthew chapter 13, verses 31 through 33, and verses 44 through 52. In these verses, Jesus really deconstructs our worldly view of heaven as we have been presented over all these years. This is important because our individual visions of heaven shape our understanding of what it will be like to be with God. In all seriousness, how we think about heaven really impacts our connection with God and how we will relate to God. But dwelling on heaven can also be troubling. We can be overly focused on what heaven is like and forget what it takes to get there. We forget that heaven and our faith are truly intertwined and interdependent. So what does Jesus say about heaven in these verses? First, heaven may look insignificant in our worldly eyes. What this world sees as important and what we are taught is important in this world can be radically different from what God sees as important or vital in our faith and in our lives. What is also important is in how else Jesus shapes heaven. Jesus states heaven's importance by showing us how some will give up everything to have it. Give up everything to reach that goal. And knowing this, we do truly need to ask ourselves, what would we give up for heaven? What would we give up to get to be with God for all eternity? When we ask ourselves these questions, we can start to remember that the overemphasis on heaven can be problematic because in many ways it becomes more about what we want and our desires versus what God wants. And when we look at the importance of heaven and what it takes to get there, we start to shift back towards God and what God wants for us, what God wants in our life, as opposed to just the wonderful image of what is to come. So that is our recap for this week. When we've talked about heaven, it's been great to have you here. But a reminder, next Sunday morning we will live stream at 8:45. We are worshiping in person at East Salem at 8:45 and Otterbein at 10:15. But hopefully, I'll see you next Sunday. Take care.